All right, what's going on out there? Wherever you are, wherever you happen to be, we're going to do something very different today. This is currently live on Twitch, so maybe you're watching this on Twitch with me, but there's a really good chance you're watching this on YouTube after the fact. So if you wanted to be here live, you can go check out Twitch and see what's up with that. So there was this article that popped up, 20 things, my cat is like yelling outside of the door, but she's got to stay. 20 things millennials did for the last time, or 20 things they, whatever. 20 extremely specific things every single millennial did one last time without realizing it. And I saw entry number 1. And my cat is going crazy. And the first entry just made me go like, what? And so I decided that, yeah, why not just read an article? Not read it. Headlines are all we need. And I can react to it like all at once. So that's what's up. Oh, our chat disappeared. There we go. My cat is crying. I feel so bad for her. Okay. This was the first one I saw. Looked up movie times in the newspaper one last time, which is, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my God. I completely forgot about that. Because it was this thing, on my mic cable. It was this like crazy thing where, unless someone else told you like a time to go to the movies, unless someone was like, hey dude, let's go see whatever movie at 7:30. You would have to look in the newspaper, right? But let's say you couldn't find the newspaper, then you had to call the damn movie theater, and you had to listen to them tell you every show and every showtime. And it would be so boring that you would like get distracted. You'd be like watching something or talking to somebody, and then you would miss the time for the movie you were actually looking for. And you'd have to hang up and call back and listen to the whole cycle again. One thing that was kind of cool though about looking up the shit in the newspaper is that, unlike your phone or your tablet or your computer, is you saw all of the movie theaters on one page. And you could very quickly just look from one theater to another and compare showtimes and movie selections. So I don't know if anyone does that now, like on a device or whatever, but that's like a good thing to do, like have it all populated to one page. Because now I think like with Flickster and shit, you have to like go backwards and then forwards and backwards and forwards or whatever. Okay, I have not seen the other 19 of these. I'm pretty stoked. Oh, we have to like not go terribly long. Okay. Because the thing will browse the selection of Blockbuster to get one last movie, 100%. Of course, if you remember these days at all, any movie that was any good, there would be like 37 copies of it, and it would be all gone. And then there'd be some other movie that was not quite as good, but there'd be 200 copies of that movie. And you still wouldn't get it because it would be like shitty. So then you'd go look at all the really old movies, going like, well, maybe there's a movie I missed, like some horror movie or something. And it was an adventure though. It was always, you would get pumped every time you went to the store, whatever your rental place was, because you're like, I'm going to find something. I'm going to find something dope. And also holler to Renting Games. Picked up the house phone one final time. Yeah. That's a fact. Actually, I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you the year. Keep shit secret. But I remember the day that I moved into a house with roommates. And decided, bruh, I'm not going in on a landline. Like, I'm just going to do the whole cell phone thing and let's see what's going on. And this is way before like iPhones and shit. And it was just like, I was honestly freaked out for like a couple of months. I was like, this is a bad idea. I'm just so cheap. This is a bad idea. Turned out it was fine, and everything ended up moving that way. Burned a CD one last time. Yeah. In fact, I can tell you why I burned CDs the last time I burned a CD. Is when I was driving back and forth from Savannah to Athens or Savannah to North Carolina, these like 200-mile trips, 300-mile trips to different places. I would be, of course, like we all do now. Well, maybe you don't. Steal your music. And I was like, oh, I've got all this great stuff that I've like stolen on my computer, so I have to burn it to the CD because I don't have an MP3 player in the car. So you had to burn CDs so you could like do your stolen music shit. Manually rolled down the window one last time. This is one of those that I wonder if it's ever like, if I'm gonna find myself in that situation again. I don't remember the last time I rolled down a window. But there was a last time. Couldn't tell you though. God, maybe 10 years ago? Maybe? Who knows? Watched a VHS tape. Okay, well here is something about VHS tapes that you might not know. Is that it had a copy protection, a little tab on the bottom of the cassette, and if you covered it with like a piece of tape, oh, what's up, y'all? If you covered up with a piece of tape, you could actually record on top of it. So one kind of crazy things about VHS tapes were you could just you put them in. Like if you got someone else's collection from like a store or something, you would put in every movie even if you didn't care, because like, and you'd fast forward through it because maybe they'd copied something onto it, you know, like a home movie or something. Because the only difference between blank tapes that you bought from the store and movies was that tab. There was a tab. So you just like cover up this little square spot and then you could record whatever you wanted on them. And hit rewind on a VHS tape, yeah. And they always had that be kind, please rewind sticker, and then some places way earlier would actually fine you for not rewinding your tapes. Printed out directions instead of using your phone. Okay, I'm actually gonna tell you this. When I'm making a long trip, I don't print out the directions, but I do write down really important navigational things, just in case something goes on with the phone or the downloaded map or something. Like I just want to know in advance kind of where I'm going. I still rely on the phone like everyone does, but I think there's a good trade-off between like having a handwritten thing you can grab real quick that you know exactly what it's supposed to say. Plus, when you write something down, you kind of remember it better. Number 9, did the cassette pencil trick one last time. Oh my God, yes! When the reel of tape would come flying out or would get caught up in the playback head or whatever, yeah, you would have to like wind the tape back up, and yeah, if you had a fingernail, you could put a fingernail in there, but you still had to like twist it like a zillion times. So you would put your number 2 pencil in there, and you could spin it. That's true. Oh my God, these so far like every single one of these is fucking super crazy true. Took the packaging off of a brand new CD one last time. That is something I don't miss at all. The packaging on CDs was stupid. CDs were crazy overpriced, and there all this. It wasn't just a saran wrap. It was like saran wrap and sticky shit, and it was just like, ugh. I can't believe it took us that long to get past that. What's next? Logged onto MySpace. Yeah, I think I might have even had like 3 tracks on MySpace. They might still be there. I haven't logged on MySpace in who knows how long. Now I'm kind of curious if I can log into MySpace. I'm gonna write that down, MySpace. Like, are all of our profiles still sitting there? Downloaded one last song. Wait, what? Hypothetically, I did this year. People don't still torrent like entire albums, things that you can't find on a certain streaming platform, for example. Right? Like maybe you have Spotify or whatever you have, but maybe there's a certain album that's not on there. What do you do in that case? Do you just go buy it? Not me. Not me, son. Oh, Limewire. They got Limewire up there. Limewire was after Napster. Dude, Napster was that for that year or two where Napster was on fire. It was the best shit ever. People talk about songs, but you could download movies and shit on Napster and shit. They had another one that like a similar service, and then people would also fuck with you. They would relabel the name of songs, so they would be like Kanye West, Touch the Sky, except for it would not be Kanye West. It would be something else. Of course, this is before Kanye, but anyways, 13. Sent one last text. That's true. That actually looks like the fucking Nokia I had, except for mine wasn't pink. I remember hating that phone so much that I threw it against the wall and broke it. And then I had to go buy the same fucking phone again. It wasn't a terrible phone, but you just get mad. Maybe you don't. I did. I got super mad. Went to the store to listen to new music on that. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, there'd be these stations set up where there'd be like six CDs or something, 6 albums, and you could listen to the whole thing. You could just cycle through the tracks. And my biggest disappointment was that I don't think I ever heard a good album that I didn't already own on one of those headsets. So you'd go track by track and listen to like 30 seconds, and it'd just be just terrible music. Oh, what's up? There's some people in the chat. I'm basically, y'all, what's going on here is I'm recording a YouTube video on Twitch. So, like, I'm going to do whatever editing I need to do, and I'm going to throw this fucking thing on YouTube. Like, why not? We're doing, in case you just jumped in, which is funny, it's like a radio show, in case you just joining us. But if you're on YouTube, you didn't just join us, because you don't join at minute 14. But, or whatever we are, minute 11. We're doing 20 things millennials did for the last time and didn't realize it. And we did 1 through 14. We're now going to number 15. Logged on. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so true. There was a period of my life where, like, every time I would get home, this is back when AIM was like only, did it ever move to mobile? But when it was only on desktop. So you would like rush to the computer to see like if anyone you knew was on there. And then here's the crazy thing is you would always talk to strangers. But there'd be no profile. We didn't have profiles or anything. We might have like a 6 statement thing, like where the thing asks you a question like, what's your favorite movie or what's your favorite song or something like that. But other than that, there's no profile. And of course you could lie about whatever. So you would just talk to people and have no idea like who they were or anything about that. And it would just be like whether or not someone said a funny sentence. Like if you said something that made someone laugh or they said something that made you laugh, then you would just keep talking to them. But other than that, there was like no way to establish a relationship. And what's crazy is I actually met random people on AIM that I ended up having like long friendships with, that I ended up knowing for like 10 years in real life because they happened to live in my city. And of course, once we found each other in real life, we never used AIM again to talk to each other. We just fucking called somebody or hung out with them. Anyways, 16. Got one last prize in your cereal. I did. Are those gone? I know there was one last time I got a prize, but I don't buy the cereals that would come with prizes anymore. Are the prizes gone? I assume they must be. It's in the article. That's true. And so if you were like a kid like me, what you would do is you would turn the box sideways and try to make all the cereal like settle against the flat side, and then you would stick your hand in on top of all of the cereal and try to feel around for the fucking saran wrap so you could find the prize. And then if that didn't work, you would take out a big bowl and pour out bunches of the cereal and then redo it again. In worst case scenario, you'd pour out the entire box and then try to pour the box back in just to find the prize. And 99% of the time, the prize was a pile of shit. I know at least once or twice the prize was good. Couldn't tell you what the prize was. But I remember being like, oh, this one's the one. This is like the super awesome thing. Anyways, keep going. I'm trying to read the chat. I don't know if I can. Oh, ICQ and Niles talking about MIRC. I remember MIRC. I think I used that to actually just get into groups to download stuff and not actually really chat. What is that? Internet Relay Chat? Is that what IRC stood for? Number 17. Ate one last cream save. Are cream savers also gone? Cream savers aren't gone. Are they really? Are you serious? I don't think they're gone. This does not strike me as one that's gone. Yes, there was one last time I ate one, but I didn't think that's because they went extinct. Okay, because fun fact, I never bought a cream saver in my life. Just people had cream savers and I'd eat them. And so when other people stopped having cream savers, I stopped eating cream savers. But are they extinct? Color me fucking shocked. Let's go to number 18. Change the batteries in your Game Boy one last... Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so here's the thing about the fucking Game Boy. Because Nintendo had all the best fucking games, the Nintendo Game Boy had the best games. And it was like the best all-around portable system. But the screen sucked and you could not see it in darkness. And it just... There are other machines that came out, other portable handheld machines that had badass backlit displays, but they ate batteries up and the game sucked. So like pretty much everyone, there was a phase where everyone who played video games had a Game Boy. Story time. The Game Boy had a case that you could get. This case that flipped open and shut. It was the same color as the Game Boy and kind of looked like a rectangle, like a gray rectangle. And I was with my grandfather, and I was riding in the back of the truck, and we were going to a dump, and he had a load of like damaged cinder blocks that we were going to go throw away. And I was in the back of the truck, and I was playing my Game Boy. And then we got to the landfill, and I closed it, and I jumped out of the truck and helped him unload these cinder blocks. Then on the way home, I couldn't find my Game Boy, and I was like, what? And for about an hour, I was just searching everywhere in the truck, being like, it must be here, it must be there. And then I realized what had happened. Is that my grandfather didn't know what a Game Boy was. Why would he? And so when I closed the case must have fallen into the pile of cinder blocks, and he must have grabbed that Game Boy just like it was a cinder block and thrown it in the fucking dump. And we didn't have money back then. We don't have a lot of money now, but we didn't have money back then. And that was the last Game Boy I had. All my games and shit just fucking thrown in the garbage. Like, it's traumatizing now to think about it. Like, it's one of those things, like right now I'm like, well, now looking back, did it really matter? Yes, it 100% really, really, really mattered, because that was like hundreds, if not thousands of hours of entertainment gone. Still traumatized. I wish there was like a life lesson there. Like, don't let your grandparents touch your new shit because they don't know what it is and they'll just throw it away. Maybe that's the lesson. We're 2 away from the end though. So I think it's 20 things. Number 19. Hung out at the spot one last time. Oh, and that's that little energy thing you would stand on top of in your neighborhood. Yes. Yeah. So hung out at the spot. There's a couple different ways to take the spot. Is that almost everywhere you would go, there was a spot. So the mall had a spot. And it was different for every group of friends. Like if you're going to the mall, maybe your spot was the arcade. Maybe for someone else's group of friends, it was like the record store or whatever, or the food court. But every group of friends had the spot. So you'd have a spot in your neighborhood, you'd have a spot at school, you'd have a spot at the mall. And that's because we didn't have cell phones. And so you didn't know who was where or how to get a hold of them. So you would just tell people like, hey, every now and then go by the spot. And so you would just go to your spot and like hang out for 5 minutes and see if someone else just happened to walk up. And if they didn't, you would go off and do your own shit. And then maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, 15 minutes later, you come back. And then random groups of people would meet up. You would just like, you wouldn't know, oh, my mom went shopping for this. Oh, my other friend went shopping for this thing over here. And then all of a sudden there'd be like 5 or 6 of y'all just hanging out. But not because you didn't have any idea where anyone was or when they were going to be there. You just be like, hey, if you happen to be at the mall, go by the food court. Go by the Japanese food eating spot. That was mine. I went to the record store, the arcade, this Japanese restaurant. Those were the 3 places in the mall that I would always cycle between. No matter where else I went, I would always go. Yeah, that's just crazy. That's so true. So true. Which, by the way, if you told someone you were going to meet them somewhere, let's say you're at school and you told someone you're going to meet them at 6 o'clock or something, and you ended up 20 minutes late, you would just never see them. Because they would get there at 6 or 6:05, and at 6:12 or 6:15, they'd figure something happened and they would just leave, and you just wouldn't bump into them again. You would call their house. When you called the house, the parents would be like, oh, they're not home. So you had no idea where they were. So you would try calling your other friends' houses, but again, all the friends weren't home. So it would just be like all these parents being like, so-and-so's not back. You call someone at 6 o'clock, Bobby's not home. I expect him back at 9. It's like, well, I know you expect him back at 9. The question is, where the fuck is he between now and 9? I don't know. And then once we could drive, you would drive to all your spots. So you would drive to the mall and check the spots. If there was like a certain store that was popular, like a media play or something, you would drive over there. You would just drive to all the most popular places you could think of, hoping to just run into your friends there. Or run into somebody who'd seen them and had a conversation. Oh, dude, no, Sam was here earlier, bro. Oh, you know what Sam's doing? Yeah, Sam said, he mentioned something about a boat. Sorry, this thing's popping up. Sam said something about a boat, and you're like, boat? You're like, oh, wait, we only have one friend who has a boat. He lives on this side of town. Okay, they must be headed in that direction. And it would be like a scavenger hunt to fucking find your friends. Anyways, last but not least, number 20. It better be good. It's the last one on the list. And finally, yesterday I read at some point in your childhood, you and your friends went outside to play together for the last time, and nobody knew it. Yeah. Yeah, well, I assume that's true nowadays. Maybe it's not. Maybe everyone's just like on their phone. But like you would have, depending on your neighborhood, you'd have neighborhood friends. Friends that you never hung out with outside of the neighborhood. Which is crazy, right? You'd have these friends that you would hang out with maybe for hours and hours and hours at a time just because you all were stuck at home and couldn't drive. Why is this shit still popping up? That must be like blowing up on y'all's ears or something. But yeah, you would have friends in your neighborhood, and of course you'd have friends at your school. And then if you did some type of activity like martial arts or something like that, you'd have friends there. And it'd be very rare for those friends to overlap. You'd only hang out with them at that one spot. So yeah, and then in your neighborhood, you'd have friends that would come and knock on your door and be like, is Ellis home? Can Ellis come out to play? And then, or you'd go knock on their thing, and you would gradually pick people up along the way, right? So like, I might go knock on someone's door, and they come out, and they're like, oh, well, he's here, let's go. And so you'd spend half your day, maybe not half your day, but you'd spend a solid like hour and a half just walking, because you have to walk everywhere. You're walking to everyone else's house and like knocking on the door to see if they're home. So a lot of times going out to play, you didn't even really, for me and my friends, you didn't even really play that much. You just walked around everywhere looking for people to play with. And by the time you found everybody, I don't even remember what we did. I just remember the walking and talking, and that was it. If there was a construction site, you'd walk through a house that was being built, or sometimes there'd be these giant mounds of dirt like with construction, and you'd like play on the dirt. You just like run up and down dirt and ride bikes, play in construction sites. And that was also something weird about construction sites. You used to always find like a single page of pornography on a construction site. And then that became like a game too. Like you'd go into like a construction site and be like, I wonder if there's like a page of naked women like laying around here. It doesn't occur to me till just now, because I hadn't thought about that in years, is who the hell is walking around with one page of pornography and then leaves it behind? Like they went to the trouble to be walking around with one single page. They obviously brought it to work on the construction site and then they left it. Who was that? There's some things that until you think back on them later, you don't realize how ridiculously weird they are. That is fucking strange. Anyways, I guess that concludes 20 things that millennials did for the last time and didn't know it. Yeah, okay, so people, we just got Renata and Niles chilling in the chat. Thank y'all so much for like stopping by. I don't know how well this is gonna work. Oh, I should end the video before just talking to y'all. If you're watching this on YouTube and you wanted to be hanging out on Twitch, you should have come over. This is the first time I've ever read some article as a piece of content, but I fucking really enjoyed that because those were 20 true things. So now I'm going to say goodbye to the people in the future and be here with the people in the present. Later.